the nice thing about Lightspeed as opposed to some other competing technologies that sort of try to accomplish the same thing is the integration. Our servers are running Lightspeed server, and then you have the WordPress plugin that is running Lightspeed cache, which is aware that you're running Lightspeed server. So those two things can talk to each other and they can work together to really uh, provide that holistic experience from a caching and performance perspective.
Hey, agency owners, Corey Miller here from A2 Hosting. Today's video is inspired by one of our agency partners who asked a great question. Why does A2 Hosting use Lightspeed instead of Nginx to run our web servers? Now, this might feel a bit like diving into how the sausage is made, but we think it's important for you to know the why behind our choices. And so here's the deal. You want and expect fast websites, both on the back end and the front end. You want things to be simple, done for you, or available in one click. And of course, you'd love to save money while you're getting all of that. That's why today we're going to talk about Lightspeed Server. So back in 2013, we listened to our customers through a survey and discovered performance was their top priority. So we made it ours. And that's an indication you'll hear from Brian Mutig, our founder and CEO, of our care and our values. But that led us to Lightspeed, a web server technology that perfectly aligned with our focus on speed and optimization. I joke a lot with our team here that we have this premise, always be optimizing, and we do that. But with Lightspeed, we built an integrated stack, fast servers, caching plugins, even a CDN, all working seamlessly together to deliver optimized performance from top to bottom. It's hosting made simple, it's hosting made fast and reliable, so you can focus on growing your agency, serving your clients. And the best part, it's all included in your hosting plan. There's no extra plugins, there's no extra tools, there's no extra cost or services needed. And at A2 Hosting, we're not just about solving problems, we're crafting solutions. If you want world-class performance, ease of use, unbeatable value, we're here for you. So I hope you enjoy the video as you hear Brian talking about all this. Hey, everybody, welcome back to the A2 Hosting Show. I've got our CEO and founder, Brian Mutig, on here, and we're going to be talking about a very important topic to us and to our customers. That's Lightspeed, the server technology we use and have utilized for over 10 years at A2 Hosting. And I wanted to talk, I wasn't here when all this happened, Brian. This was 10 plus years ago. And I wanted to talk about this because as I've learned more about what we do and how we do it, this is an important factor. There's a lot of depth to this and good reasons why. I think how we view hosting is a craft. I see how you work. I see how our engineering team work and the rest of our team. And I go, this is something we take a lot of pride in, performance in particular. But could you tell us a little bit about Lightspeed, but also how it even originated and why it really matters to you and to our customers?
Yeah, thanks, Corey. Well, I'll start at the beginning. Really, when we started using Lightspeed and what led to that decision. So 2013, I believe it was. We were around. We've been around a long time, and we were one of many hosting companies out there. And like many companies, we're trying to figure out how are we going to differentiate ourselves. What is the thing that we're going to do differently to really stand out in a crowded field at the time? So we actually ended up doing a customer survey because we were trying to figure that answer out. And of course, talking to your customers is the best way to do that. And the what we got out of that survey was really what led to all of this. So we sort of had intuitively knew some answers to what those questions were likely to be. Like, what are those important things that you're looking for in a hosting company? Good support, good uptime, good software stack, all these sorts of typical things that were relatively table stakes, I would say. But The thing that we got out of there that was very surprising that we weren't expecting as a result is that people wanted performance. People were looking for fast website load speed. And I don't remember the details of why we even put that in there as like an option, but somehow that, when we were brainstorming, that came up and we said, okay, what the heck, we'll put that in there. And the response we got was what really was surprising to us. We had no idea how important this was becoming to people at the time, because it was ranking right right near the top, like with all the other things that security, support, all these other things that you sort of would expect to see. So I think that was really the light bulb moment for us. And I took that and I went and I looked around. I said, okay, wow, this is really interesting. Like, this was not what I expected to hear. This is something new. This is new information to me. And I went and looked around. I said, okay, well, who is the performance hosting provider? Who of our competitors out there is talking about this, doing this, focusing on this? And I couldn't find a single one, honestly. I could find hosts that were all about security. I could find hosts that were all about support. I could not find one that was all about performance. And so that, for me, was just an obvious opportunity for us to find that thing we were looking for to differentiate us from our competitors, right? So that's how we ended up going in that direction. And so this was also around the time that SSDs were coming out. So the confluence of events and opportunities that sort of came around at the same time. So I said, hey, our customers have spoken, right? Let's figure out how to do this, right? And I have a technical background, systems engineering. That's where I come from. So this is something I feel comfortable doing. This is a problem I feel comfortable solving. So, we took the next year or two, and I went out, with some folks on my team, and we said, okay, what do we need to do to get these websites, and specifically WordPress websites as well, to get them fast, out of the box, right? That's what we were looking for. And that's how we stumbled across Lightspeed. And we saw that Lightspeed was also aligned with that focus. They were always about, hey, we're compatible with Apache. We're kind of drop-in replacement. You can do all the things that you're used to doing, but we focus on making it faster. We focus on that performance. And so it was really just a perfect alignment with the focus that we were going for and with what they were doing as a vendor.
I love that story for a bunch of reasons, but one is, we have a core value, and I'm saying this as one entrepreneur to another, but a lot of companies have core values, and you think, are they actually practicing them? But customer focused is one, and I would say the nuance to this is, we have our thoughts, perspectives, opinions about how to do things, but we're listening, and it was affirmation, putting out a survey to just say, "Hey, what do you really want?" And then going that, "Hey, there's something there." I've seen that over and over from you and our team, data focus. But what I want to translate that for our agency owners and our customers at A2 is we listen. Your voice matters. And that's one experience from 10 years ago that has informed everything we've done since then. But I want to say that's different in hosting from my perspective, being in the industry for 17 years, that we really do listen. And so if you're a customer out there, you're an agency partner, just know that this story, why I wanted them to tell it again, is because we listen. We want to know what you're interested in, so that I look, we've said this before, Brian, like, I feel like you eat problems for breakfast. You're like, "Hey, are there problems? Why? If not, I haven't had a good breakfast this morning." Like, the ability to solve those problems and go through, it's really a troubleshooting culture we have here. Um, and then, okay, so then we get to Lightspeed. So we listen. Now we found a solution that was in alignment, and this was at one of their very first beginning, right? Back for Lightspeed, like they were just kind of getting off the ground when you found them.
Yeah, they had been around a while, but they weren't. I'd say they weren't particularly well known or popular at that point. So we started off really pretty early when they were starting to get some traction. Of course, you know, I would say looking back now, as we obviously grew uh, due to this performance focus being something that people were really looking for. Lightspeed has also, for the same reasons, been growing in popularity over the last 10 years as well, because that was their alignment. And as we know now, this is uh, something that Google thinks is important, and our customers and your website visitors think is important to have a fast loading website. So, but I feel like, relatively speaking, we were sort of in on the ground floor with them as well. And I think the other thing, Corey, that I wanted to mention for what you just said, I think back then also there was a mentality that the hosting company shouldn't be going into the application layer and messing, like, we just host, right? You install your application, and that's your problem, not our problem, right? And I think we've clearly seen this happen over the years, but I'll just say to any entrepreneur, to anybody else out there, it is your job to push that, right? To push that envelope, say, okay, this is the way we've been doing it. Fair enough, right? And I remember getting pushback from folks internally who are like, well, that's not our job, right? It's WordPress. That's the customer's job to deal with that. I said, okay. I mean, I get that, but I'm going to tell you, that's not where it's heading, right? Like, we're going to be responsible for that. Customers are going to want that. They're telling us they want that, and we need to listen. And we need to not just necessarily say, no, we can't do that. No, that's not our problem to solve. So I think for anybody out there that's running an organization or a leader, I think it's important to always be open-minded. That say, okay, well, this is how we have done it, but let's look ahead. And you sort of started seeing the writing on the wall, like, hey, people want this. Somebody's going to do it. It might as well be us, right?
And see, there's another core value, flexible or adaptive, and baked in from your leadership from top down, and not get so entrenched in one thing to remain open to where the market goes, what the customer needs. I think that's excellent. So transitioning from that into the Lightspeed partnership, from my perspective, it looks like we have an ideal partnership in that it's two ways. That the Lightspeed team goes, we've got a great customer here in A2 that wants these things. Let's really truly listen. So like values reflect from an A2 perspective over in this Lightspeed team perspective. You know the founder, we know the team, we're in constant contact. But it seems like that ideal thing where when we say, what about this? We need this. It seems like they're extremely responsive because we're helping, in a way, co-create what they're doing.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things I've learned over the years working with vendors is there are vendors, and I would put Lightspeed under this, that are aligned with your values. They are pushing the same direction that you want to be going. They want to work with you. It is more of a partnership, and of course you're paying them for their services, and there's there's nothing wrong with that. You're getting value out of that, but there's more to it, right? There's another layer. It's not just a check you're writing. Um, they are also passionate about creating that high performance website experience for people that we were also trying to create. And so it was something that was I'd say fairly easy, because we were so aligned on it, right? To say, okay, hey, let me give you some feedback. This worked really well. This is maybe something we can work on still. How do we automate this? How do we make that? And we have things in play right now that we're working with them on, based on feedback that we've been giving them, and they're wonderful to work with in that respect. And definitely I would put them as one of my top vendors that I enjoy working with, because we're on the same page. We're trying to make a better experience for the customer.
Yeah, I really hear the word alignment used and values. And I recently pulled a friend's site over to A2, and you can tell, like, I don't know all the technical logistics under the hood, but I see how it expresses it out in the WordPress application layer because her site back end, by the way, and front end is lightning fast. Um, so let's talk about Lightspeed here. What role Lightspeed is in the A2 stack. I want to ask too, because I'm not deep technical, but for those listening in that understand some of this, the nuance. Lightspeed is the software that runs the server.
Yeah, so Lightspeed is the web server that we use, and then also we have the Lightspeed WordPress plugin, WordPress Lightspeed Cache plugin that we run inside of WordPress. So the nice thing about Lightspeed as opposed to some other competing technologies that sort of try to accomplish the same thing is the integration. So um, on top, our servers are running Lightspeed server, and then you have the WordPress plugin that is running Lightspeed Cache, which is aware that you're running Lightspeed server. So those two things can talk to each other and they can work together to really uh, provide that holistic experience from a caching and performance perspective. I think that's one of the big things that really differentiates running the Lightspeed stack versus some other ones where okay, maybe you're running Apache and then you put Nginx as a static proxy uh, uh, on top of it, and these things, you can bolt them together, but they're not really necessarily talking to each other holistically because they weren't designed from the bottom up to fully be integrated.
And that's where this stands out. I mean, it just makes sense if you just think about software when it comes from the same vendor, you're going to get alignment. And when you said bottom up, that really resonated because where you're not, like you said, bolting on other things, but this is a native way that it seems, for the whole stack. So that plugin team, whoever's building that at Lightspeed, is coordinating with whoever does the server side things. And that just makes for a better experience overall. And we've seen that.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I mean, especially certainly, when we first started using them, this was before they had their actual WordPress caching plugin, and I mean, already just the web server itself was faster, and we tested all kinds of different things and different configurations, and before we decided to go with them. Uh, but once that caching plugin started coming out and started maturing, uh, that's really, once they are in the application, they can really make use of all the different layers inside of the application. And they have caching plugins not just for WordPress either, but certainly WordPress is their most popular one. But just the ability to go all the way from the application layer, the site itself going up through the web server and being able to know what to cache, what not to cache, those things talking to each other, it just creates a better experience.
And that really stands out to me because when you kind of talked earlier, performance, nailing performance. And I think we have this silent mantra, which is always be optimizing. And so in that case, I know when you get to the caching and the application layer, there's things that when you don't have that kind of integrated experience, you're kind of my term only, but band-aiding things in where when you go, oh wait, I know how this works, and I can really help optimize that shows in our quality that drew us to Lightspeed in the first place, which is performance optimization.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I mean, um, we've certainly looked at all of these other competing solutions, and okay, run Apache, put Nginx in front of it, then staple Cloudflare on top. Um, the reality is that well, I'm also a keep it simple kind of guy, right? Like it adds whole levels of complexity, right? Now you have three different pieces of software running on top of each other. They don't know each other exist. There's a lot of configuration and a lot of things that you have to be able to keep track of to make sure that your particular application at that layer is now caching the right things. Also, not caching things it shouldn't be caching, things that are dynamic. Those things can all be complications that arise. And the nice thing, again, is when you have that fully integrated stack all the way through, everything is aware of the application. The plugin obviously is configured. You also have that, uh, instead of having to customize and manually keep track of every WordPress update and this plugin does this other plugin, not necessarily the Lightspeed plugin, creates a problem. Or now you have you have WooCommerce in here, and that has certain things that are dynamic versus static that you can't or shouldn't be caching. You have a vendor who is getting feedback from an entire community to understand those things and integrating that into their stack, into their plugin, going all the way through. So we're able to uh, focus our efforts on the core hosting, and then the best way to use and configure that software to get you the best performance. And so uh, that's that's why we have been, chose them, and have continued to be huge advocates of the Lightspeed stack.
And as you know, this actual topic all came up because we're talking to an agency owner. I wanted to look at our stack, and they're kind of used to using some of these other things we talked about, like Nginx. And I just asked the question to you. And I know we have really good reasons, but I wanted you to really unpack all that, because for someone like me who doesn't really know those deep technical, what's I think great and builds trust and credibility is the fact that we have depth of this whole decision making. And so surfacing this up was really a big point to me, because when I asked you directly, I was like, we got to get this recorded and shared out, because there is really good reasons why we've chosen this, why it helps us to have that really awesome nail that performance side of things. So that's something about Lightspeed, the plugin, but I know there's more stuff coming out with Lightspeed that we're excited about. Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so several years back, Lightspeed also developed their own CDN, which to integrate their stack even further up the chain, really out to the edge, uh, similar to a Cloudflare type CDN. So that is something that is already available to use on our platform. Although at the moment it's a bit of a manual setup to do that, which I suppose wouldn't be much different than going and signing up for a Cloudflare account. But we're actively working with them on doing a fuller integration of that for us to be able to really integrate that with the whole stack. So um, the benefits of that are the same as what I was just talking about, right? So now we have all the way from the web server up to your application caching plugin, all the way up through CDN at the edge, knowing what should be cached, what shouldn't be cached, uh, and being able to talk up and down that chain all the way, because you have a one platform that's controlling that entire thing, instead of putting Cloudflare on top of something else. Cloudflare doesn't necessarily know or get informed if there's something that they should be caching or shouldn't be caching. Um, Now, certainly they're pretty smart, so they get it right most of the time for sure. Um, but the other ability of this thing that is nice, the Quick Cloud CDN, is they can also do a lot more caching of dynamic content. So the ability, because they know inside WordPress, like what is going on, what is dynamic, what's static, what can we cache, what pieces of that, even EdgeSide includes, it's a whole concept where pages can cache certain pieces and not cache other pieces. Some are dynamic, some are static. It has the ability to know these things and to be able to bring that all the way up to the CDN level. So, um, and Cloudflare has a similar with their WordPress APO plugin, and I mean that's the reason they have that, because they have to be in the app to really have that level of detail. Um, but we're going to be able to give that to you included, and you don't have to go set up a third party thing. We're going to take care of all that for you. We're going to do best practices. We're going to have it set up and configured for you. You know, uh, we've been doing this for 10 years now. We have a lot of experience, and you know, I talk every once in a while with somebody who says, "Oh, I had trouble with Lightspeed," and um, you know, obviously every situation is different. Every website's a little different, but typically my response would be, "Okay, why don't you let us take a look at it?" Right? Like it could be that something wasn't set up properly. Um, like any piece of software, you have to know how it works to get the most out of it. So, um, obviously, what we do, we offer uh, what we think are same defaults for most websites, and of course, there's always some exceptions that need some tweaking and whatnot. But we do also have a WordPress optimization team that is also very experienced in the WordPress performance area, and Lightspeed specifically, uh, who works with customers to help through some of those issues if they do run into something that's unusual.
All of that, I love that. And by the way, if you're listening, you hear the performance optimization team that Brian just said, hit up community at a2hosting.com if you're interested in that. I know that team and you dove into those details. Love to dive in, see how we can optimize WordPress sites. And it's, again, showcase of a value we hold pretty dearly, which is performance, listening to customers. And what I heard from you too, just now, Brian, is integration, deep integration and alignment. And then ease of use. So we don't want you to have to go outside when we've got these things we can do here. If you choose to do that, great. But I know we're working on that where it's manual at the moment, but will be more automated in a second. So imagine being in your dashboard, your A2 dashboard, and not having to go out, but doing everything you need to do right there. And and then the CDN is another piece of the stack. I know you and team have been excited about. I'm excited about it because I go, wow, have an ecosystem here fully aligned for performance optimization. Take that off your worry box for a second. Well, Brian, thanks so much for sharing about this. Again, it came from an agency conversation we've been having, and I wanted them to hear it from you, how our focus is, not just take my word for it. I go, no, I'm hearing this internally. We want to get this externally. In closing, is there anything else we missed and you want to mention about Lightspeed or A2 and what we're doing for WordPress agency owners?
Yeah, I mean, I think I think we kind of went over most of it. I think the only other point I would make is just the value proposition of all this, right? I think that's maybe a piece we didn't really touch on. Just the fact that you don't need to go out to a third party and get a third party paid caching plugin. You don't need to go and get a third party paid CDN like Cloudflare, right? The full stack integration, it's all included in the hosting package. We bundle all the things together for you, and obviously can help you grow with that. But there's obviously value in that where we think and we get feedback. Most people don't want to deal with it, so we're giving you everything you need to be successful.
Ease of use and save some money. I'm glad you mentioned that. That's a big one here, and I think that's a product of it. We own our stack, we own our hardware, and we can do these performances, the values there, and core values from how we approach these things. So I appreciate adding that in. Absolutely. So if you're an agency owner, you're listening. This is our CEO founder talking tech, talking deeply about hosting as a craft for you, and we're always listening. I talk to a lot of agency owners every week. That's my role, part of my role here. And then I relay that on to Brian, our leadership team. And then we iterate on those things. So thanks so much, Brian, for talking about Lightspeed Server, our partnership, why it's valuable. And thank you, everybody, for listening in today.